Welcome to Sunday School for Sunday, September 28, 2025, for our junior students, ages 9 to 11. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's Bible basis is coming out of Acts chapter 7, verses 2 through 4, verses 8 through 10, verse 17, verses 33 through 34, and verses 45 through 47, and then verse 53. The title of today's story, The Debate. Caleb gazed over the podium at classmates and teachers. What in the world am I doing here? He thought. 2 weeks ago, he was in a class telling everyone how students can write papers based on biblical beliefs. Some of the kids said no one could talk about God at school. Before he knew it, Mr. Parks turned that little class discussion into a formal, school-wide debate. Caleb had confidently prepared to the best of his ability. He researched, he practiced his points, he had even explored opposing opinions. However, his heart pounded and he felt clammy as he stared into familiar faces. Not only was this Caleb's first year at middle school, it was also his first full school year in this town. He'd been a bit of a celebrity when he moved from Montana last spring, but now he felt like an oddball. The popular kids teased him about his manners, and the rowdy kids seemed to enjoy taunting him for not cussing. The last thing he wanted was more attention. So here he was on stage. God, help me to be brave and share your wisdom in love. Help me represent you to this school in a way you'll be glorified, he thought. Caleb took a deep breath and spoke clearly into the mic. Thank you, Mr. Parker, for allowing us to speak today. How would you feel if you were Caleb? Why do you think Caleb worked so hard to prepare? Why didn't he just pray and let God do the talking? In today's lesson, Stephen stands before the Jewish High Council of Leaders. He is on trial based on the lies of deceitful men. Stephen reminds listeners about God's faithfulness through all of history. He reminds men about God's law. Then he pointedly accuses these leaders of disobeying God. Acts chapter 7, verses 2 through 4, then verses 8 through 10, verse 17, and then verses 33 through 34, verses 45 through 47, and then verse 53. And he said, Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken, the God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Charan, and said unto him, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee. Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans, and dwelt in Charan. And from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein ye now dwell. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begat Isaac, and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat the 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs moved with envy, sold Joseph into Egypt, but God was with him, and delivered him out of all of his afflictions, and gave him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he made him governor over Egypt and all his house. But when the time of the promise drew nigh, which God had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. Then said the Lord to him, Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place where thou standest is holy ground. I have seen the affliction of my people, which is in Egypt, and I have heard their groaning, and am come down to deliver them. And now come, I will send thee into Egypt, which also our fathers that came after brought in with Jesus into the possession of the Gentiles, whom God drave out before the face of our fathers unto the days of David, who found favor before God and desired to find a tabernacle for the God of Jacob. But Solomon built him a house, who have received the law by the disposition of angels, and have not kept it. Stephen's message in Acts is the same message for us today. God is faithful through the hard times and the good times. God uses difficult situations to help us grow and to carry out his purposes. God even used Stephen's arrest as a platform to proclaim his faithfulness. In the end, Stephen's warning is a message for all time. Do we obey God's law or not? Will we stand firm before accusers and tell of God's faithfulness? The memory verse: Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house will you build me, saith the Lord, or what is the place of my rest? And that's Acts chapter 7, verse 49. On a sheet of paper, list 3 examples of God's faithfulness in your life. Then write a 2-sentence testimony sharing what God means to you because of Jesus Christ. Practice with a partner. Tell of God's faithfulness and share your sentences. By practicing, you can be prepared to stand up for what is right with family and friends. This week, you are challenged to take Acts chapter 7, verse 53 seriously. Ask the Holy Spirit to empower you to keep God's law. Ask God to help you be bold in the face of opposition. Be ready to share your experiences next week. Can you memorize Acts chapter 7, verse 53 this week? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.